Greetings, fellow scribes! Welcome back to the archive. This week, I take a look at Fireborn. This is the first of a two-part series. Next week, I will be looking at the mechanics, but this week, I'm going to take a look at the sort of unique aspect of Fireborn. That you are playing in two separate eras. Modern-day London, and then you are playing in the Mythic Age via flashbacks. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we talk about remembering when you were once a dragon in Fireborn. Everybody has dreams, but yours are different. Yours are dreams of fire, of violence. And one day you have a realization while in a dream that you can control the fire. And you diminish it, and you take a look around, and you see yourself. But what you see is not you, what you see in the mirror. What you see is the scales and the armored hide of a dragon. And then sometime after that, you meet someone, and you have a flashback to a life that wasn't yours. This is a life where you were in scales, and a creature of claw and teeth, and you were fighting something, and this person and some others were with you, and you know this person. You know this person you have never met's name. But the name you know is not the name that they bear now. It is an older name from another age. And you're drawn to them. And you're drawn to the others that you remember in that flashback. To complete your circle, to find your broodmates. Because at this point you realize once at some point in the ancient past, you were a dragon. And Fireborn is about the scions, those who bear within them the soul of a dragon. Once upon a time, there was a mythic age. This was a time of massive magic. And you were a dragon then. You fought creatures, threats to the world. Maybe to eat them, maybe just because you knew that there was something wrong with them. And that eradicating them was the best thing to do. And as you play in this game of Scion, your human character in modern day London starts to remember this ancient past. You remember the foes you fought. You remember items you hid, and you find them. And when you play this game, you run the flashbacks. These stories from the past are still played out, and they affect your modern self. It might be a scene. It might be a small adventure that you flash back to. But either way, it ends up with you playing in two vastly different eras. In modern London, you are dealing with the rising threats that are emerging. You see on February 5th, 2001, there was a massive, orchestrated magical ritual done. This ritual was coordinated across the planet via the nascent internet at the time, the still budding early 2001 internet. And it was coordinated through every means available. The purpose of this ritual was to seal a rift. This rift had been draining magic from the world. By sealing this rift, magic began to rise again. And with this rising of magic, things from the past began waking up. But also, there's the fact that the magic done by humans is flawed. They do not understand it as well as dragons, who are creatures of magic in and of themselves. And so, the human magics corrupt, taint the inherent energy that they focus for their rituals, for their spells. And where these magics are done become corrupted areas. And things get drawn to these. And as things get drawn to them, circles of Fireborn come to deal with them. Maybe try to cleanse the tainted area when they can. But the Fireborn, as creatures of magic, are affected by the taint. The different sires among them, whether it be Basilisk, Naga, Leviathan, they have different impulses when around the taint. And the Fireborn, the Scions, they react to it. And it could be something as simple as sacrificing of yourself, i.e., for those that have that as their taint response, cutting. It could be up to things of mindless violence, or guarding something. But remember, even if the reaction seems beneficial, it gets corrupted, it gets twisted. So if a Scion's reaction to taint is to protect, they're going to be the overprotective person. You might start off with someone just going, "Hey, don't put your hand on that fire," to the helicopter parent, to sealing the child away in a vault, giving them only the amount of foods that they need to nourish themselves in order to protect them from the threats of the outside world. And this is what the taint does to Scions, to Fireborn. It twists a natural reaction into something extreme. And it often takes their other broodmates to reach them, to get them out of that mindset. At the same time, you have to look back at the ancient past. something caused that rift. You don't know what it was. You, in the modern day, do not remember what it was. Which is how the storytelling works. The GM actually has a script of flashback events that they need to have happen for their story. So, you are doing stuff in modern day London, and then, bam, you do something that triggers a flashback. It tells a story. It tells part of what happened. Part of what happened in your ancient past. You might, as a result of this flashback, find your way to some item you had hidden, thus increasing the power of your horde. Or you get a clue as to how to deal with something you're getting ready to face. One of the more interesting elements is you can totally die in your flashbacks, and then something happens, and then you spend a period of time where you are out of it, and then you get reborn as a lesser dragon, and you have to spend time as a savage animal, and then you start remembering what you were and find your way back to your broodmates. That doesn't usually get handled in flashbacks. That's just a setting element to explain why there are gaps in the presence of you in certain areas and what happens when you die in the past. Death in the modern era is a little different. But this is Fireborn. It is a game where the ancient past helps you clue into the modern future. It was one of the hidden world games from the mid-90s and early 2000s. This was a really popular genre, and Fireborn, I think, was a unique take on it. Next week, I'll be taking a look at the mechanics of the system. So until then, I'd like you all to remember to have fun and keep gaming.